everyone, this is Ilina and welcome to another LDRS creative card making video. Today we are making 2-for-1 cards using the Tulip Mix impressions and foil plate. I'm also using the words, simple words die set and simple sentiments stamp set. So let's get started. This is a large A2 size plate, and I'm pulling my BetterPress platform. I'm adding the plate there and I'm inking the stamp. So since this is a large background, it takes a little bit to ink it up. So I sped up the process here. As you can see, I'm making sure that I have nice coverage with that black ink. I think that looks pretty good. So next, before I start inking the plate, I forgot to add my paper. I'm using the LDRS Creative Watercolor paper, and I added that to the BetterPress plate. So I inked up again just quickly that plate, just in case it dried a little bit while I was adding my paper to the top. Now I'm running it through my die cutting machine. Gonna pull it out, and here it's the result. I think it looks gorgeous. Next, I'm using some watercolor markers to add color to color that background. You will notice that I will speed up the process here, and you will notice some areas are skipped. There's nothing really, I'm just doing pretty simple watercoloring. I scribbled that watercolor on my glass mat. Uh, I have the squirrel and vine glass mat. So I'm just adding water, picking up that color, and doing pretty simple coloring. So I'm starting with the tulips, and then I'll move to the leaves and the background. So I decided for the tulips to go with purple, pink, kind of carmine or carmine red tulips. So I have all the purples there. I'm adding some of those carmine ones or light red. So you will see me, I'm doing direct to paper technique or just while the background is wet, and just also picking with my brush from the scribbled area of color. Okay, so we have all the tulips color here by magic of YouTube. Next, I have some green color here. I'm picking it up with my brush and I'm coloring the leaves and the stems of the tulips. Okay, I think we're almost done here. Okay, next let's move to the background. There are a few spots left from the background. I noticed there I had a little piece of the flower that was not colored. Next, for the background, I decided to go with blue. I'm just coloring the empty areas in between the leaves and the tulips. Okay, so we're almost done here. I noticed there one of my leaves was not colored, so I'm gonna go back with the green color, pick up some of that color and color that in. Okay, so we're done with our background. I'm gonna add some acrylic block on top to make sure that that dries nice and flat. In meantime, I have die cuts that I will use one for each card. I have 3 tanks and 3 enjoy. So what I'm doing here is stacking them to create a more dimensional and more sturdy die cut or embellishment. So I have my tanks, it's in black. I have 3 black die cuts. And then for enjoy, I decided to use gold glitter paper. So I cut enjoy once from the glitter paper and then 2 more times from white cardstock. And I will stack those similarly like I'm doing for the tanks. So I'm adding that on top, and then like starting from the left to the right, I'm starting to line it up to make sure that it's nice and all the die cuts are lined up. Okay, so I have cut my background to 4 by 5 1/4 off camera. Now what I'm doing is I'm cutting it in half, um, kind of under diagonal. So this way we'll end up with two cards. One, I wanted to create some interest, so that's why I cut those kind of diagonally under an angle. So one background will be on top, one on bottom. And then I cut two pieces of black cardstock, and then I will add a little strip behind there. Or I could have cut thinner strip, and once I adhere that to my card or my panel, which is 4 by 5 1/4, I can add thinner strip of black cardstock there. But I like adding it on the back and lining it up. That way, both layers will be, when I add foam adhesive on the back, they will be both raised up. Okay, I think that's nice and straight. I'm adding acrylic block. Make sure that that dries nice and flat and secure. So next, you can trim the ends here with scissors. I didn't have my large scissors that I like to use for this on my desk, so I just went with my paper trimmer. Okay, so one panel is done. We're going to do the same with the second panel. Okay, so we have them both. Now it's time to start assembling our card. So this piece goes on top since that's how the tulips are faced. I decided to use the Thanks die cut, and then I will pick a supporting sentiment from the Simply Sentiment stamp set. So I'm positioning it in my stamp positioning tool. I have a piece of white cardstock that's 4 by 5 1/4. I'm positioning Thanks to be parallel with that edge, and then I'm positioning the sentiment also parallel to that edge and just under that Thanks. I will pick it up with the door of my stamp positioning tool. I'll apply Raven Hybrid ink and stamped, and I think that looks pretty good. So we'll put that aside for now, and we're going to move to the other card. So this one, the background, will be on the bottom part, and then we'll use the glittered Enjoy. I think that looks there. Good there. And I'm trying to pick a supporting sentiment. So I think this looks good. I'm picking up that sentiment from the door of my stamp positioning tool, and here I'm using gold pigment ink to stamp the supporting sentiment. It's really hard to see on camera, but trust me, it's there. So okay, I think that looks pretty good. And now let's start assembling our cards. We have all the pieces. I will add foam adhesive on back of that colored panel. So bear with me while I cut that. Okay. Now I added liquid adhesive on the back, so it gives me a little bit more wiggle room when I adhere that down and line it up. So I think that looks good. Now we just need to add that Enjoy. And I'm adding liquid adhesive on the back of it. I'm adding it to my panel, making sure it's parallel to that edge. Okay, so now let's do the second card. Similarly, I added foam adhesive on the back. I'm adding it now on top of the panel. I have the Thanks die cut there. I will add liquid adhesive on the back and add it to my panel. Next, what I'm doing is I'm adding the panels to a 2 black piece of cardstock, a panel that measures 5.5 by 4.25. And then I can add that to a note card. So I pulled out 2 note cards there, and you can see, and then it will be white inside for you to write message to the recipient. I could have used black cardstock, but often I do struggle with black cardstock unless I add a piece of white paper inside to write using a white gel pen, or I'm struggling finding white gel pen when I need it. So we're going to repeat the same process for the second card and add it to a white top folding note card. To finish up the process, the cards, I decided to add some gold pearls. So that's what I'm doing here. I added a few drops of liquid adhesive on both of my cards, and I'm just adding those pearls wherever I've put those glue dots. And our cards are finished. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our blog for more ideas and more inspiration. Thanks for watching. Bye!